Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm a little discombobulated because this crazy work shift that I'm working is just making my schedule nuts. I come home from work, I stay up till 6 in the morning, and then I wake up till like 5 minutes before I got to do a stream. so, uh, so forgive me for looking like a crazy person. So, oh, I don't have our. There we go. Let's put that on there. There we go. So, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. You haven't been on my channel before, right?
No,
No,
no.
I'm
Tommy, yeah,
recognizing faces. I didn't recognize yours. So you are let's first off let's start with some accounting news. I was up late last night. I'm doing the finals for my comic Heroic Tales 2. I'm hoping that when I get home from work tonight that I can order the proofs. So for those of you who make comics, you understand what that means. I get physical copies like expedited and rushed to me. If I order them tonight, I should have the proofs in like a week. And then I go through them, make sure there's no typos, and then if everything's okay, I just hit print. So that's how close we are. So you can understand me being frantic, staying up all night trying to get this done. So anyways, Chris,
fully understand.
this is volume 2. So you went through this process already before.
Oh yeah, for our monsters, volume 2 of our monsters for sure. But I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so this
okay.
is
So here we go. Let's head the floor over to you. So this is Chris O'Hara, Bent Box Comics, and you sent me a file. I checked out your comics. It looks pretty good. I've never met you before, so I'm just giving the usual. But what you showed looks promising and professional. So I was like, yeah, sure, come on my channel. Let's talk about it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no. Tommy with World at War Comics, hit me up and he was like, "You should go on John's show." And I'm like, "Yeah, definitely."
Okay. I've
been on Tommy's.
I can't remember every. But that he's a good guy, man. Tell him I said hello. He's a real good guy.
Yeah, no, I love going on his show. So when he's like, "Yeah, go on John's," I was like, "Oh, 100%." So I'm glad I'm able to make this work. Cool. But yeah, my name's Chris. I own a small press publisher based out of Southwest Florida called Bent Box Comics. We've been doing this for probably about 3 years now, maybe a little longer. Wow. And I think we have 14 or 15 comics under our belt. So we've got a decent library now that I'm very proud of, and it's not all me, obviously, as the owner, but I started off as a creator as well, so I have a handful of my own stuff. And then we kind of grew into a publishing house, so now we have a bunch of different creator-owned comics on there that are all pretty good, if I do say so myself. And as I really appreciate the kind words of they look professional. That's kind of my main thing is it's indie because we're just us.
No shade on anybody, but I feel really bad. But like a lot of people, and not to sound arrogant, but a lot of people are like, "Hey, can I come on your channel and look?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me see your comics." And I'm a crazy person, running around doing all the stuff, working, everything like that. And I really can't do an hour for everybody who asks. So the fact that like I don't know you and I looked at your comic, again, this sounds mean and pretentious, but I don't mean it that way. But your comics look good. So I'm going to be ordering some comics. That's usually what I do. You come on my channel, I order your comics. I'm
okay. But deal. Yeah, I got a lot to choose from. So feel free to pick whichever tickles your fancy. We got sci-fi, fantasy, horror, obviously.
Okay.
With today's comic.
Send me 3 links. Which link should I click on to show everybody what your comics are? What's the best?
I mean, you could go to probably Global Comics would be the easiest thing to show because we have a couple Global Comic exclusives that aren't available on our website. So if you want to see like basically everything we have, definitely check that out.
Sure. Okay. There you go. I'm going to make this bigger so we can see it. There we go. So this is a Confederate Monster.
Yeah, that just released September 18th. That's with Dave Schwartz. He's an insanely talented guy. He's the writer and artist for the series. And that's going to be our first series that's like a legit release schedule. So it's every other month there will be a release, and then it comes out. I think there's going to be 6 issues total, and then we'll wrap that up in about a year.
That is it. I like that. And then me being an H.P. Lovecraft freak, this next Elder Sigil, geez,
yeah,
you're hooking me in here because lately I've been on. excuse me, I've been on a kick of like Revolutionary War,
Okay.
Civil War, United States,
Okay.
and then Lovecraft. Geez, you speak my language. So tell me about Elder Sigil. This looks awesome.
So Elder Sigil is actually a part of our series called Bentbox Shorts. This is just our release. Like, I'm not sure if there's a better way to show it, because this is basically just the most recent release rather than like all of our series together. Can't remember how it like pops up the best, but this is part of Bentbox Shorts, which is we give smaller creators like a chance to submit their stories, and it's just a free series.
Okay, I'm reading the comment. I got in the deep ones. Okay, you got me.
Yep. Oh yeah. So we even got like a cool tutorial on there that's from this really talented artist named Sam, actually in Africa. So but it's such a cool tutorial for like really cartoonized art style. And, we teamed up with him to bring that to a different series that we're titling Bentbox Tutorials, just to help artists, kind of get better at what they want to do. And then, we got a bunch of other stuff. We got Wingless Foul Play, which is right underneath that. That's issue 2 is coming out very soon. That is issue 2. But yeah, if you look on the left, you'll kind of see.
Oh, Artificial I've seen around before. I've seen people recommending this.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they recommended it. That's my personal book. If you
book. Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit, and just on that left tab there, why don't you just go ahead and click like Artificial on the left side? You'll see. Yeah. So
yes, I have this.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I have Artificial. Oh, cool. Not to be disrespectful, but I get so many crowdfunded books, and I talk to so many people, I lose track. Yeah, I get it. I got Artificial. And matter of fact, we did speak before. You've been on my channel before.
I don't remember. No offense. Same to you.
When you're doing the PR, but I remember.
I don't believe we've been on the same channel. I don't think we have, because I went through all my messages and I tried to reach out to you a couple times, but we just couldn't make it work. But I've been on a couple.
Maybe we've been on somebody else's channel at the same time.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember I picked this up after talking to you. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this one's my personal one. So this one's probably our most popular at the moment, but it's kind of like the first comic that started Bentbox as a publishing house.
So are you the writer, artist, both?
I wish I was both. I am the writer. We hired an insanely talented artist from Brazil named Gabriel Fonseca. He's insane. So that's kind of, I really wanted to. Some people discourage it going full gusto on your first project, but this is quite literally my first project, and I just definitely didn't want to. I wanted it to look professional. I wanted it to be good. I found the best artist I could, right. And he was also. This is his first comic he's ever done.
That? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, get the.
There's a handful of people who discourage it.
I don't understand that, but if you're passionate about something, and like I said, we got another guy that I got his comic.
Let's start. So he's under Bentbox. If you look on the left, he's one of our first people we actually brought on and published his book Orium.
Yes, I got Orium too. Looking forward to issue number 2. Yep, cool. You see, I love that all of us little guys helping each other out. But as I was saying, like when I made my first comic, I reached out to literally when I was writing the script, I pictured the art to look like something. And then I found a guy that looked like that art, and I reached out to him.
Yeah.
And then this is going to sound a little silly, but like the back cover, if you go to a printer, they put a house ad on the back, and it's cheaper. But I'm like, I want my first comic to be all me. Like, no offense, no.
Yeah.
So why would anybody?
I did the same thing.
It all out?
They say it's something about scalability. Like, it is. To be fair, I understand it because we only have 2 issues out of Artificial. Technically, it looks like 4, but we have different variants. We have a propaganda edition, which is black and white with like a splash of color, and then the standard editions. But there's only 2 out, and that's that one went live June of last year. So it's been over a year since we've been able to get 3 out. That said, we're working on 3 right now with the team. But this is just kind of, it's a little bit more expensive. We have really high talented artists. It's just kind of one of those things that I've had people go, well, you kind of need to be out every couple of months. And if you can't afford to do that, then don't hire that artist. And there's all this like scalability questions. And I'm like, all right, I'd much rather just have a really awesome comic whenever I can get it out.
That is one of the weaknesses of what we do. When I say we, I mean me and you being small comic book, publishers going. Are you bypassing the direct market? Are your comics in the comic stores?
No. So unfortunately, we got started right as like Diamond really took a dump,
right.
and then we started getting the ball rolling with Lunar distributors, and once they brought out Massive Indies, I don't know how familiar you are with any of this, but it's kind of like supposed to be trying to take some of the burden off of some of these distributors with this new program called Massive Indies. Basically, you do 99.9% of the work and the legwork, everything, and the cuts like 30% after all these different things. It's just, and then you have to pay for them to house it, even though they're not really. Anyway, no offense, Massive Indies, but no thank you. It just it didn't seem helpful for us.
I had the same experience. It's like, oh, okay, so I pay the artist, I pay this, I pay this, I pay this, I even pay for printing, and then you guys are going to take the lion's share. Just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And then the funny thing was with Lunar, I had been trying to reach out to them for a while, just to get my foot in the door. No response. And then once they announced Massive Indies, they actually reached out to me. Massive Indies reached out to Bentbox Comics and said, your catalog is perfect for this program. We would love to onboard you and get the ball rolling. That way we can get you in shops. And then they said, I'm like, let's do it. I've been trying to reach out to you guys. And then I get the little terms of service and I'm like, no, I'm good. I literally just said, no, thank you. That was it.
I haven't, but like, I heard Image Comics is basically a scam too. Like there's guys like major professionals that went to Image and they were like, I'm not making any money. And it's the same thing. If you bring Image Comics a complete book,
yeah,
and then they get it to comic book stores and they take a massive cut. And then they say that it takes like 4 or 5 issues before you make any profit. Now, I can understand if you're like a Jim Lee, or you know what I mean, or a Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Because then it's guaranteed sales. But like me and you, how are we going to be able to do 6 issues before we even see like what, $500? So
yeah, exactly.
So that's why I'm grateful for crowdfunding. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, but I don't see crowdfunding as being the long-term goal.
No, that's what. Yeah, crowdfunding is where we're basically at for the most part. Like right now, my comic is on Kickstarter Live. We're mainly on crowdfunding, but we have invested a lot of money in a really nice website that should go live within the next week or two. We're very proud of it, very excited about it. Some things on it are going to be a little bit more user-friendly and consumer-friendly over other indie comic sites. So, and I specifically asked for the developers of it to do that. That way we stand out a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's kind of where we're going to push people. So you want our comics, just come buy it from us. I'll send it right to you. I have no problem doing that. So that's kind of...
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what you said though with the whole difficulty with us small guys getting our comics out, that's the main reason why we started Bentbox. Was I did Artificial 1 and then I was like, man, Artificial 2 might be able to be out by next year. Hopefully people don't forget about Bentbox, like my publishing house that I was starting just for myself. And then me and my buddy John Shell, who does Wingless and Blossom and Worlds Forgotten, he does a bunch of books. They're all on here. If you can check, I highly recommend checking them out. But we basically just said, hey, I think the way to do this is more of a release schedule, but different creator-owned books. So like that's why Orium 1 came out. And that was in between Artificial 1 and another book. I think one of John's books, Orium, came out. That kind of helped us keep a steady flow of content and keeping in the zeitgeist of indie comics. And then next thing you know, my book comes out, and then John books comes out, and now Orium 2 is coming out pretty soon, which I'm super pumped for. So that's kind of how we're building this, which is why we have 14 comics 14
Right.
series or whatever. Yeah,
That's a good idea. I mean,
it's a try. It's a shot in the dark at the moment.
unfortunately, we don't have the infrastructure like Marvel or whatever, or I don't know if I don't know your artist from anybody, but I could just imagine if he got like a steady paycheck and everything like that. Yeah, 9 hours a day he would be drawing, and you can make a monthly comic. But this isn't Marvel in the '60s anymore. Everybody's got other jobs, but you are keeping your publisher, your Bent Box Comics, it fresh. Like I'm not going to mention any names, but I just said like we got to produce like maybe once or twice a year at least.
Yeah.
Just to keep people interested, like
and that's hard for just one dude to do. And so it's kind of like an indie collective type idea, which I know has been done before, but we're just doing it better. Not to name names, but I'm very proud of how well we've done it so far.
Good. Yeah,
that's a good question.
I got 2 of your comics. I didn't even realize it. So that
Well, that's good. I mean, I wish the name stuck better. That way, you would have been able to have that memory. But maybe for the next one, you'll see Bent Box and go like, "There you go."
Yeah. Well, I'm a crazy. I can't remember family members' names anymore. So
same.
Yeah.
No worries.
I want to ask Chris, how do you feel about manga outselling American comics and Demon Slayer Infinity Castle outperforming Hollywood films?
How do I feel about it, or what do I think about it? Because those are probably 2 different questions. What do I think about it? Is it makes sense. I never really liked manga. I just never got into it. I actually never really enjoyed anime. The closest I ever got to anime was Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon. That was the closest I got to anime. Like I never watched Dragon Ball Z. It wasn't part of my childhood. Seeing the growth in manga made me really want to look at it and just dive in and just see what is this that everyone loves so much, and why do they love it so much. And then I just quickly realized that, like, in all honesty, I went down to the local library and bought and rented a bunch of what was it called? Agent Demi-Human. I think that's what it's called. Really cool series. Read, I think I'm almost to the end of it by now. But you pick up they come out in volumes. You know what I mean? It's tons of story in there, and I don't know. There's just something about it that I can see the hook involved. And trust me,
your story mirrors mine. I don't know how old you are. I assume I'm a lot older than you. You look like a young sprite lad compared to me.
I'm a young 36.
Oh, yeah, that is a lad. I was just guy at work was 40 years old. And I was like, "You're a baby."
But you're a baby.
But I had the same thing back when I was a kid. Anime, manga wasn't. Every once in a while, you would see it. Like they kept trying. They kept trying.
Yeah.
And Eclipse and First Comics they brought over, and I liked them, but I couldn't get past. To my eyes, the art style was like a national style, and maybe I'm naive. Maybe American comics look like a house style to the Japanese. You know what I mean?
They do. I'm 100% sure they do.
I didn't even think of that until just now as I was saying that, and I just didn't like it. But I recognized that it was good. Like there's bands. Every time I say this, somebody gets mad at me. There's bands that I recognize as awesome, but I just don't enjoy their music.
Oh
Rush
yeah,
every time I say that, people get mad at me.
Wait, who?
Rush, the band Rush.
Right. I mean, they got a couple good songs.
I think they're amazing musicians, but I just
you can see the talent, while also you just know it's not for you. Like there's right now I'm doing like a horror movie month because it's October, and there's been like 3 movies so far where I'm like, I will never give that hour and a half back to my life. And I'm upset about that. And then people go like, well, what do you think? Would you recommend it? I'd be like 100% watch it, because I don't know if you like it. You might like it. I hated it, but you might like it. And that goes for anime. It goes for manga. I never hate on things people like because it's subjective. So that makes sense to me that, I don't know. I do feel like I
agree what you say, but like I turned around, like, because I got 7 brothers, sisters, 55 nieces and nephews. Most of my nieces and nephews, in some form or another, either read manga or watch anime. Did I say it around? I said it backwards, but you guys know what I'm saying.
I fully
but
understand.
None of them read American comics.
No, I feel like
about it. So I'm like, I know my nieces and nephews. These are regular people. Some of them are even parents now. You know, they're not
Yeah.
weird, they're not weirdos. You know, they're normal
No.
blue collar Americans. So it's excellent, and I don't blame it for kicking our ass because they're putting out excellent product, and we're putting.
I
out
think
product.
the Western comics, what we used to know Western comics to be, they lost the culture war, as a lot of people mentioned before, but it's more in the way of just like capturing the hearts and minds of the youth. I feel like they left those people behind, and those were quickly swept up by manga and anime, and you know, it really appeals to them, and there's fun and engaging stories, very whimsical and things of that nature, and yeah, they just won the youth. That's what I think. And then over the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, I don't know, time's irrelevant at this point, whenever it really started to show, they just kind of it swept the nation, and now it's just a cultural phenomenon. Like, people love manga.
The thing that I think is the biggest difference is they didn't pander.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, they don't pander.
They didn't try to sell you an ideology. They didn't pick up a political side. And you know, I'm sure in Japan you could find liberal politics, social justice politics, progressive politics, conservative politics.
Probably.
You don't need. They got millions. Literally, they got manga about fishing. They got manga about a guy who's too shy to ask out a girl. They got superheroes. Whereas
they probably have 100 of those, though, that you just said. But yeah, they're just stories, and they're good stories, and they're fun, and that's all that they care about. And that's why, honestly, at Bentbox, we're 100% taking the manga approach of just like, there's no pandering, there's no and anything. There's no politics in anything we do. It's quite literally just really cool stories by really talented people. That are really unique. That's all we care about.
And I think one of the things I do like about our indie scene is there's westerns, there's sci-fi, there's superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's really bizarre topics that I just love. Whereas mainstream, it's all superheroes, and I love superheroes. My comic is you know, a couple of people said, I like your comic looks great, but I'm tired of cape shit. Well, that's what I like. You know, I'm sorry, but that's what I like. But I understand that's not everybody's. So
I'm in the same boat where I'm just tired of the capes. And it's not even that I don't dislike it per se. I love it. That's how I grew up. Especially like honestly, what got me back into comics was probably, you know, the MCU, how they just killed the Infinity Saga. It's just like cinematic perfection, and that really got me back into things. But at the same time, Confederate Monster being about if Dr. Frankenstein was captured by the Confederacy during the Civil War to help them reanimate the corpses of all their fallen soldiers, including General Lee, to do one last push to try and win the war as the bad guys, obviously. That, with Frankenstein involved, it's just a more interesting cool story. There's sci-fi elements and superhero elements and all these different things that you're not going to see in your average Cape Crusader type thing. And so I'm more attracted to that. That said, we do have plans for a superhero comic that I'm actually personally writing that I'm very excited about.
Did you spoil the name of the superhero? I love that stuff.
Yeah, so his name is The Second Sun. The series is called Sundown. It's about a superhero. It's about a man who, in his old age, kind of the retirement years of fighting crime, he is coming apart mentally. He's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And this actually started because I read an article a long time ago about someone who is like, you know, your favorite superhero? Yeah, they would probably die of Alzheimer's. The main way they'll die is probably of Alzheimer's. And I'm like, interesting. Why? And so I read this whole article, and they just went into the brain aspects of the body and how this all works and everything. It's all pseudoscience, obviously, but it piqued my interest. And so I started developing a character that can't really... Basically, what would happen if an all-powerful character suddenly can't really figure out who's good and evil?
Oh man, I gotta get my comic out first.
Okay, no, fair enough. Get yours out. I've seen yours, and I will say it's different. Mine's very different.
No,
So don't worry.
I have. I've been being tight-lipped on this, but I have
Okay.
a vastly powerful superhero who is suffering from Alzheimer's disease,
Hey, perfect.
and the government is hiring shapeshifters to act like
Ooh.
him because they can't let people know that they're
Okay.
competent. You know what I mean? So, and then
I like it.
this was in the works before the Biden presidency, and now I'm like, and then I'm like, the Biden presidency makes it topical. You know, so
It makes it topical. Yeah, it does.
you know, and it's funny because I have a comic book in the works about a 35-year-old man who does nothing but collect comics, and his parents are selling the house, and he has to get a place to live, and he's freaking out. And then somebody else just, there's a lot of. I think we all just float in the same circles, And,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I there's no original idea under the sun. I'm pretty
but
sure that's
anybody who
all I was
watches
gonna
the
say.
stream, don't spoil my this, because that's literally the first time I said. Sometimes I
I feel
think I'm
honored.
clever, and people guess exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
trust
know
me.
if I should be proud or upset.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm writing. Yeah, as I'm writing it, I'm trying to figure out what the hook I want and the twist and everything like that is. Like, man, if this gets guessed, I'm going to be pissed off. So I get it.
Right. I told somebody, I said, issue 6, which is like 4 years away. I said, this is the title. And then somebody write in the chat, spoiled the ending. And I just pretended not to see it.
Yeah, for real. It's like, la 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 la. Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. And you, like me, you can't draw at all. You know.
I used to be able to draw. A long time ago. My dad actually inked for Marvel.
Oh, really?
A long time ago for a very small stint. He ended up pitching them an idea for his own comic, and they turned him down. He had I remember going through with him. It was this incredible, you know what I mean? Back then, it was like this big portfolio thing filled with all the pages, and you turn it, and it was all hand inked and everything. And so he pitched that to his bosses, and they said it needs some work. And he ended up, and then he quit. He was like, "All right, I'm done." And so he's a bit of a dummy, if you ask me. But so I used to take a little after him. Like I would draw caricatures and superheroes and stuff back when I was a little kid. But
you got me so curious. I got to look up your dad.
I don't think he was super low level. I don't think you're gonna find him, and it was only for probably 3 months.
Oh, okay. So because I know
his name's, you can look him up. His name's Mike O'Hara, but I don't think you're gonna find him because I try to look him up. All the proof I have is the portfolio and then some of his sketches of other characters.
I had a coworker who inked for Marvel. His father inked for Marvel, and I kept looking him up. And after a year, I was like, I don't think your father inked for Marvel. And he was like, no. He, a lot of inkers are uncredited. They would just they were there doing other stuff, and then they would, and then I heard the same story from so many other people that I'm like, okay, I bet you a lot of inkers weren't credited, or they would. From what
I understand, it was almost like a worker bee. They would just slide you a page, you would ink it, and then or ink part of it or whatever you can do for the moment, and then they would just keep rotating things between the main guy doing it. It's kind of interesting. I don't know the ins and outs of it. All I know is supposedly
a lot of colorists that the main colorist would get the credit, but that person had a bunch of assistants.
Yeah, he had a flatter. He had a bunch of people who helped with shading.
They could do monthly comics. They have
a team
assembly line.
Yeah. It's an assembly line of comics. Yeah, we don't have that. We have just a really talented person doing everything.
So what would you consider like an ideal schedule then? Like if ideally, like I don't think
I would do either bi-monthly or quarterly would be something that I'm striving for.
I agree with you. I don't know if I could do, my title, but I'd like to get a comic out every 3 months. That's my goal in the future. 3 or 4 comics a year by long comics. Now I'm working with a bunch of, but I think you're doing the right thing. You don't want to rush it.
No.
And people that are into this indie sphere, we're remarkably patient and we're remarkably forgiving to a point.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. One of the big things that I think is really that hurts indies is we have to, if you click on the prologue for Saga of Strays, I'll just give you an example. It's right there. That's by a guy named Roy Stroyer. He's actually an Israeli artist, but I'm confident that this is just the prologue. I don't know why it's so big. I don't know if you can get it to be better, but I think if you click on the right, it'll take you to like the next page. But I'm confident this is going to be kind of like, this is kind of going to be the next large like epic, and quote epic, that he's crafting. And it's just because he's insanely talented, and I've seen all the pages so far, and I'm so excited for this book. But it's something awesome. It's something to where the reason why I mentioned it hurts, the thing that's hurting indies right now is we have to pay $6,000 for issue 1, which is 30 pages or whatever. And then we have to wait till it recoups a little bit, then pay for another one. And I think the market really it shifts more in favor of graphic novels, fully complete stories. This is something that's so difficult for an indie person to make.
Oh, tell me.
Financially, time-wise, everything. So like even this right here, this is just the prologue. But Roy came to me and he goes, "Hey, I have an idea for a book. It's called Saga of Strays. There's going to be 4 books, and they're all going to be graphic novels. So full, like 150 to 200 page books, complete stories following different characters." We had a super long meeting on it, and I was blown away. I was like, "Dude, I need this under Bent Box. There's no doubt I need this under Bent Box. I want this." and he asked, he's like, "Well, should I put out like chapter by chapter?" I said, "No." You are the writer and artist. You have the luxury of bringing to market a complete story in a hardcover book or trade paperback, whichever you want to do. And I was like, that's going to sell so much better than doing by chapter. I said, so let's be patient, let's hold out, and let's bring this insanely awesome book.
I agree with you. I think unless you could be monthly or bi-monthly,
yes.
I think a complete issue, a complete story is more satisfying. I kind of got dogpiled on for saying this. I said, but when you release an episodic, episode, whatever you want to call it, once every few years, I don't remember. Me and you have been on a stream together. We both forgot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm supposed to remember the side character picked up a sock in issue 3
exactly
years ago, and now that's paying off. Now finally, no.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do. Is so far I'm doing it. Every issue is complete. If you skip
that's
an
awesome.
issue, which I hope you don't do, you're not going to be confused with the next issue. Like Marvel used to do.
Yeah. Which is good, and that's kind of one of the main ways to do it as an indie.
Right.
Or
so if I'm waiting for this and I'm getting a complete trade paperback with this cool artwork, that's awesome. A full story, and then what? A year or 2 later, I get another complete story.
He's working
speed and give me everything I need. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's why I'm this is kind of my treasured thing at the moment, where I'm like, I really love what I'm doing, obviously, but I'm just so proud of. I mean, if you keep going, I think it's about 15 pages, but it's just,
this looks beautiful. Oh my god, this looks creepy.
It's kind of like a, I don't even know how to describe it. It's similar to like a Game of Thrones type epic story.
Look at this panel over here with the hand. This is like Bertie Wrightson and why can't I think of all these artists? But all of these artists, I could see all the influences.
Well, he's one of the best artists I've seen yet, and his talents were wasted doing like a mobile gambling games, like casino games. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing art for. And he said, I got a really cool idea for a book, and he showed me this. And I was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, why is this not your main priority?
How is this guy not snatched up by the mainstream?
Because they're not looking. I'm looking.
There you go. I knew the answer before I even asked the question, but yeah, it was. But that I'm working with the guy. I'm just like, how are you not working for mainstream comics? And the answer is, I think Marvel already uses AI art. They just don't. They don't announce it. And
potentially,
I think they just get a guy who's just super quick these days, and unfortunately the Al Williamses and those guys just don't exist who put in amazing drafts. But I'd wait for this. If the gentleman whose name escapes me made one graphic novel a year of this, that's what they do. What are they? I always forget that term. That's from Dune, the Ben Gesserits. But you know, the European term, you know, that they'll make one big hardcover oversized graphic novel a year, and it's
Yeah.
the wait. This is awesome. Kelly
Yeah,
Jones,
he's
yes,
work-
reminds me of Kelly
Kelly
Jones.
Jones.
Also, Kelly Jones, Cully Hammer, Bernie Wrightson. Look at all this.
Yeah, he's working at about he's trying to work at the pace of about a year per book. That's his goal.
That's a perfectly doable goal with art of this quality. Look at this.
Oh,
man.
I almost don't think it's a doable goal because I've watched him do the art and I'm like, how in the world are you doing this in like a day? I was like, the line work. I mean, if you zoom in, thankfully I have the privilege. So I'm lettering it actually, which is something I've never done before. So everyone be gentle with me. But it was something where I really wanted to collaborate with him on, mainly because he's Israeli. His English is pretty good, but it's also kind of like I definitely wanted to help him. So I'm kind of like editing and lettering as we go. But it's basically just trying to cut down the cost to get this book out as a completed, but at the same time, extremely high quality product with almost no overhead. That was my goal. I was like, I want there to be no overhead for this book, and it's just profit. I was like, if we can make that happen, let's do it.
When you find the secret for that, send me the information.
Well, this is it so far. Find a guy who will do all the work, and then team up with him. That's all it is. He's the writer and artist. I'm just lettering and editing.
I was going to ask you questions that's really none of my business about your business practice, but
no, I don't mind. I'm very open about everything.
He's just working and then going to get paid out of sales.
Yeah, we're just going to split it basically. Well, probably not even split it. I'm lettering. He's going to get the vast majority.
Yeah, because the way I work is I pay per page. You know what I mean? So
yeah, if I wrote a book, I'm going to do a page rate.
Right.
When I find my artist. If you are the artist and writer, and really all I'm doing is I'm truly working as a publisher for this series.
That's a different story.
Then I'm just taking a bit of a cut to help with it, like maybe 10% or even less for publishing cut. And then I'm honestly just lettering and editing for free just to make sure it's as good as possible.
Yeah. That is, this guy's such a good find. Holy mackerel. I'm excited about this. When do you think this is going to be out?
Our goal is early next year, but potentially, so, you know, Israel's having a really fun time right now, and we're not going to get into that. But apparently, like the other day, I messaged him, and he was in a bomb shelter. And I'm like, hey, man, how are the pages coming? And he goes, sorry, I'm in a bomb shelter for the next 3 days, but I'm going to get back to it on Sunday. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, take your time.
Art, get out there and draw.
Yeah, what are you doing being a wuss in a bomb shelter? Come on with your family and your children. Get out and make some art. So thankfully, you know, I love the guy. He's a really nice guy. We have meetings every once in a while and just chat. But I told him, obviously, there's zero rush on this book. I was like, I haven't even really fully announced it yet. Like you said, this is kind of the first time I've really brought it to scale what we're planning. So
that looks gorgeous. I mean, I can't wait to see that.
We have a ton of good stuff, and none of it is bad quality. I am proud to say that we do not have a bad book among our entire thing.
Yeah, this is. Oh, I thought I was clicking. This is your book that sparked this conversation.
So this is Our Monsters Volume 1. This came out last October, last spooky season. We're trying to make it a series that is an annual series that comes out on Halloween every year.
Okay,
it's a pretty cool series.
Okay, there's no preview art or anything.
Oh no, there is. No, click on it and then do the same thing as you did last time. Where you click to the right. It makes the cover way too big, and I don't really understand that.
Okay, yes, yeah, I like this.
So
Brian Bow just introduced me to an artist, and now but of course I'm blanking out on the names, but it reminds me of the same artist. So I was like, oh wow, I'm really digging this. I'm just reaching over for the book. Richard Sala.
Doesn't sound familiar. I'll have to Google him. Okay.
Yeah. Richard Sala is just, he reminds me of like Ed Borey and all that stuff. So, and then of course, as soon as I get interested in the guy, I find out he passed away. So I was like, oh, that's sad. But I'm looking at this art and I really, really liked, oh my God. I didn't see that image. That is terrifying.
So the premise behind this book is it's kind of an experimental book. or series as a whole, where we are taking single page horror stories. There's no narration, there's no speech bubbles, there's no speaking, there's nothing. It is truly just told through the art. The closest you're going to see to narration is a title for each work, which is on the left, as you see there. And yeah, it's just single page horror stories. Really creepy. A lot of this one was based on like Brazilian lore. The artist is from Brazil. She's a very young artist that's
love this artwork.
Extremely talented, and I loved it. Was one of those ones where I reached, same with Roy, who did Saga of Strays, the one we just looked at. I saw her art and I reached out immediately. And I said, how have you not done anything yet? I was like, I love these pages. A lot of these she actually posted on her Instagram as just like fun little one-off things. And I said, let's compile these into like an anthology. Why don't we do that? And she was totally on board. Yeah,
some of these are just so creepy. Oh, look at this.
And they're just weird.
Yeah, oh God, that is terrifying.
I love it so much.
Yeah, these are, oh my God. This is, yeah. I didn't scroll this far, so I'm seeing a lot of this for the first time. This is my honest reaction. Yeah, oh, it's funny. This just took me back. Like I would,
same here.
When I was a kid, it was a 4 or 5 hour drive to see Pop and Nana and Pop.
You don't have an iPad?
What's that?
I said you didn't have an iPad. You had
we had shut up and stare out the window. That's what we had.
That's what I had too.
My mom's smoking, so the car's filled with smoke. We're taking the seat belts, we're sticking them down behind the seats. This was the 70s, ladies and gentlemen. Mom, this seatbelt hurts. Take it off and stick it behind the seat. So we're sticking the seat, just sitting in the car. 7 kids in a station wagon sitting on top of each other. So you just look out the window, and I would daydream. Like literally, I would do this. Like in my imagination, turn these power lines into monsters, and it's a really cool series that kind of like, I feel like it recaptures the whimsy and then at the same time like the horror of like a child's imagination. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah. Oh man, this is another one. Like again, I remember as a little kid, my mom would always go to the department stores, and back then, well, they still have them, like a circular rack full of coats or pants or something like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would hide in them, my mom, and and I'd whatever. But I remember I couldn't find my mother, and I got older, and then finally I found my mother, and I walked over and I started holding her hand, and then I looked up and it wasn't my mother.
Terrifying.
And in my mind, it was a horrific monster. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is doing exactly, I think, what the purpose is, reminding us of childhood, little scary things.
Yeah. Where your mind goes. Yeah. It's a lot of fun working on this. So a lot of this was her, and then I wrote a handful of single page stories myself, which was a huge challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
Look at this. This is, yeah, that is really cool. Good luck, man. When is that coming out?
So volume 2?
Yeah.
So volume 2 is on Kickstarter right now.
Okay.
It's just more of that creepy stuff. That was volume 1. Volume 1's already out and you can buy it. But if you go to that Kickstarter link, you can check out volume 2.
Oh, good. I was just about to ask, can I still get volume 1? Because I missed volume 1. Of course. Yeah, there we go. Let's bring that up right now. Yeah, I it's so creepy, and like you said, it's like a child's imagination. Oh, there you go. So it's the same artist for both volumes?
Yes, I'm planning on keeping her for the whole thing. I had thought about like maybe mixing it up, but there's something about a consistent style that I like. I feel like it keeps you in the book. I don't know how else to describe it.
And you know what's weird? I'm thinking of like ordering 2 copies because like one of my nieces would love this. I'm not opposed to that. Go for it. Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, I'm not going to stop you. Yeah, but like as horrific as this is like a child's whimsy. Like I'm assuming there's like no graphic nudity or anything like that. No. It's unsettling. That's why I put the term. I'm publishing it pitching it as a horror anthology,
But in all honesty, I don't even get the horror vibes as much as just unsettling. Like the unsettling vibe of just like sitting with this creepy page. It's a different vibe than just horror. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But this one's actually going to be a little longer than the volume 1. We're almost done with it, and then we're going to put it out. So the cool thing about this one though, or about Our Monsters though, is we have it done when it's by the time it's funded, and then it completes funding on Halloween at 5 p.m. I mean, if it gets funded, it's not funded yet. So everyone, you need to go help us make sure that what I'm about to say comes true.
I'm going to back, but not live for obviously.
No, you're fine. But on Halloween after 5 p.m., because the book will already be compiled, I will be sending out the digital version, the digital PDF on Halloween. That way you back the book, you get the book on Halloween, and you can read it. If you want to wait for the physical copy, by all means, that won't be out much longer because it's already compiled. I just have to get the money from Kickstarter and then print. But, if you want to enjoy this in pure spooky timing, then you will be able to read it on Halloween in only, whatever it says right there, in a couple, 15 days.
I really like this. Yeah. Oh, you're getting some visceral reactions from the chat. Yeah. It looks good. So let me just ask you, because I'm flirting with this now, and of course I only have one comic book, so all my dreams are very far away at this point.
Okay.
But you started out doing this because you wanted to make your own book, and now you're finding other people and making other books. So you went.
I'm honest. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say. So you went from, this is my stuff to now I'm publishing other people's stuff. Do you have any difficulties? Do you like, no, that's not good, you need to change it, and then I tell people I'm very honest with them, and I say, and it almost, to your point earlier, it sounds kind of pretentious almost, but if you want to join Bentbox, once again, I'm setting a standard for all of our books that's very high. And so, no offense, that I've had to turn some people away, and I've been very honest. Where I'm like, no, it's just not quite up to our standards. I really appreciate the interest, yada yada yada. That said, I've just always, if I'm working with a person or a creator or an artist or a writer, I'm just very honest with them, and I just tell them, first off, this is your book, this is your baby. I don't want to be the editorial nightmare that you have to go through like you would at Image or anywhere else, where now you're tweaking a bunch of your stuff. That said, my main goal as the editor-in-chief per se is just that, like, we have a book right now coming out early next year called Monstral. It's about an orc that was born for battle but wants to be a bard. He's meant to rock. It's kind of like the elevator pitch, and it's this really fun story. And I'm really excited about the author bringing it to us. But I told him, I was like, if you want to join with us, my goal is just to make this book as good as possible. It's not to make. I don't even want my name on the book because my name is right here in the top corner, Bentbox Comics. That's the name. Okay.
After that,
attitude.
I said after that, I just want the book to be good, because if someone sees in this top corner Bentbox Comics on Artificial and they go, "Oh snap, Monstral, Bentbox Comics on the top," they want to buy it now. I was like, that is my goal. I was like, so I'm just very honest with people. I help them find artists. I help them edit. I tell them when story beats aren't really hitting as well as they think, if they should reconsider it, but I'm not going to force it. So yeah, I just kind of guide and help, which I've found a ton of joy in doing that. Every once in a while I get that itch of like, man, I want to make my own book right now, which is why I write. So I have tons of scripts completed on my computer and all ready for an artist as soon as I find one. But at the moment, I'm finding a lot of joy in just helping others make their book.
Yeah, because I'm, depending upon how well my next campaign goes, I might take one of my friends' books, and it's just here's the files. You know what I mean? It's
okay.
Complete, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
and the thing is, there's a couple of things I'm like, I would like to redo the lettering or something like that. For sure. And I don't know if that's like a thing me and him would fight over, or if he'd be like, yeah, sure, let's make it better. So I'm like anticipating, you don't want to be Like, dude,
Exactly.
I spent all the money. I did it all. I'm giving you the files. Just print it. But like, yeah, it's gonna say Longbox Comics on it, so it's gotta.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and as long as you go into it with that mindset of like, hey, I'm not trying to be a douchebag right now. I'm not
Right,
coming
right.
in saying that you did bad work or anything like that. Because to be completely honest, the Monstral story that I was just talking about, the guy pitched it to me with art. He already had 7 pages done as a preview, and it looked like something off of Webtoons from a very cheap artist. No offense to the Webtoon people out there, but it was you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can kind of
Right.
picture that vibe. And he goes, "What do you think?" And I said, "I love the idea. You need a new artist." And he goes, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I'm dead serious." I was like, and that's only because I want the story to shine as good as it can. I was like, this is real. This is rough. I'm no offense. I was like, but I can see the potential in the story. So let's find a good artist. So basically, I hunted down an artist for him. You know, we're in a Discord chat together. We all collaborate. Huh?
Was he the artist originally?
No. He just found a guy off like Fiverr or Upwork or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For like $10 a page.
This happened twice so far. Was you make, like, I'm at work. Oh, you make comics. The initial thing is I didn't know they still made comic books, and I draw.
100%.
Oh, let me see your art. Oh yeah, I would love to work on a comic book, and then it's like just a bad copy of manga.
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, oh, you grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, and everything looks like Dragon Ball Z. Like,
yeah.
Right? Oh, cool. Let me get your information.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we could make this not a bad version of Dragon Ball Z and a good version of Dragon Ball, I don't care. That's still cool. I was like, but yeah, there's that like almost like a Temu version or a Wish version of Dragon Ball Z or something. It's like, this isn't going to cut it, buddy.
Yeah,
no offense.
And I feel so bad. And then the other thing is, I find a guy who's like phenomenal artist, but they can't do sequential art. They could do static.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I haven't run into that too much. A lot of the people we've worked with have been pretty good. Now, Gabriel, who did Artificial, that was his first time ever doing a comic book. But he's just too talented to not do it well. That's kind of his curse, and that's not a joke. Like he was too good, and so I'm so excited to work with him on Artificial. And I was blessed to have him as my first artist.
Yeah,
but he's also a super nice guy, and we get along very well.
Because one guy was like, basically he talked himself out of it. He was just like, well, I'll do covers if you want. I'm like, that's fine, because I am doing the regular. My philosophy is whoever does the internal art does the cover. It's just
I'm the same.
But I'm not above a variant cover.
I think the most I've done is 2 variants. I'll do a standard, which is always the main guy in there,
right.
And then like if I have a buddy, if I have another artist friend who like has done work for us before, and like he would love to do a cover, I'll throw him on a variant cover. But other than that, yeah, I'm of the same mindset of like, I'd rather the cover.
I did 5 covers for my first issue. I got a little carried away, but in my defense, I got legends like Pat Broderick and Michael T. Gilbert and Mike Gustovich to do my covers. So, I made it a little bit more expensive than I needed to be. But would you say don't go all out on your first issue? I went all out on my first. I'm never going to be able to make my first comic again. And I got some of my favorite comic book artists to work on my first. So I got no regrets. Now,
there you go.
Now I'm working like 1 variant cover. So cover A, cover B, hopefully. And it's a cash grab, guys. But I'm also getting some good artists. You know what I mean? You don't have to buy both. They're there. Pick whatever you want.
That's why I did with Artificial, I did a variant cover, but the whole point of the variant was, no offense, I also view it as a cash grab. And I was like, well, how can we make this an actual value? And so we made it the propaganda edition of Artificial. So you get the standard edition, which is full color. And then the propaganda edition is the alt cover, but it's also alt interior. It's black and white with splash of color.
Well, then
that way.
Then it's not a cash grab. I mean, you spent money to make.
I wanted to give, and once again, like you said, you can't make your first comic again, like twice. And I wanted to be like, hey, this is my quality. This is the bar I'm going to set from here on out. And so that's why I went all out with Artificial as well.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I got to get up and get ready to go to work.
No worries.
Just ruining everything. I mean, it's more money, so there's that. But So anything you want to say for the last couple of minutes? You know, the floor is yours, and then the talk.
Just I appreciate you having me on. It was fun. Everyone watching, go back Our Monsters. Of course, I have to do the call to action cash grab. But you know, we're really close to funding. Is a really cool series. I don't think you're going to regret getting it. I had a conversation with someone the other day that horror in comics is kind of difficult because it's still images, so it's really hard to capture that sense that you get from watching like a movie or something like that. I honestly think that Our Monsters does it. I'm very proud of how it turns out and the pacing and what we're doing with the series. So if you want to actually be a little spooked out this year, get a copy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, follow us everywhere.
I totally agree with you about horror. Horror is timing, and timing is real tough to do. Comedy and horror, it's got to be perfect timing. But couple of these images really gave me chills. I think you did it.
Well,
as soon as we're done, I'm backing this. I just don't want to do it live.
Right, cool. The cool thing is, so it's the last thing, because it's single page horror stories. There's no like connection between them. That's the point. Is that way it's an anthology. But as a writer, if you backed issue 1 or read issue 1, you'll know that there's a small through line that pays off on the last page. Our Monsters Volume 2 is no different. You just have to be watching for it. And my whole goal of that is to, by the time you go to turn that last page, you're actually scared. Okay,
cool. All right. Well, unfortunately, it's in the way of all the fun stuff, and I literally gotta.
No worries.
I could be 40 minutes early to work or just on time. It all depends on the traffic on the highway. So
100%.
Thanks a lot. And come on back. You know, especially when that Saga book is ready to come out. That looks awesome. You know,
I'll be back.
Gotta remind me. That looks really cool. I'm super excited. This looks awesome. You know, I already got Artificial. So yeah, you're doing good, man. Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
And Heroic Tales too. I'm hoping. I keep looking at the messages. I was getting distracted, but the file should be done. I should be able to order the proofs tonight. So thanks a lot. Yes, nice quality all around. Yeah, absolutely. And
thanks, guys.
We're gonna say goodbye, kids. Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye, kids.